walk into a mediation meeting in like a week and a half. And be like, yes, I would like 50% of our things and 50% of our money, and can I see my children? It's been more than 5 months. Okay. It has been more than 5 months since I have seen or heard from my kids. Not even... He's such a fucking dick. Not even pictures. Not even a phone call. He objected to supervised contact or a phone call, a video chat. Like, he's such a monster. If no one can see why I was fucking scared of this bastard, like, watch the videos from last November 2022 where he was telling me this, and then see that he did it. And then tell me what I should have done instead of losing my fucking mind when I was at one point getting on YouTube and be like, help, help, I need help, help me, like, this is not good, I need help. Because I saw what was happening. I saw him coming by, scaring me, stopping by randomly, telling me to get out of my own house, telling me he was gonna take them from me, and that if I left he would call the police, like, telling me he was that he was prepared to do everything to make sure I was institutionalized or arrested, and that it was either him and the kids or me and the kids, and he would get them eventually, so I might as well leave. And sometimes he didn't even try to rationalize, like, oh, you should just leave. Sometimes he would say, get out of my house, leave, this is my house, my money, I paid for it. I was so afraid because I didn't know what else to do, and I have a problem asking anyone to help me because I don't know who to trust, first of all. And then when I did ask people for help, like, I called women's shelters. They were like, well, you have your needs met, you have money, do you need cleaning supplies? And I'm like, no, I need somewhere to go, I need help. And they're like, well, we can offer you this phone number, like, call them and see if they can. His parents refused to help me. My mom's insane. My sister's a fucking backstabbing fucking bitch. And my ex-husband used them against me. The amount of betrayal I feel. Sometimes I was so sure he was right. I was like, he has to be right. It has to be my mom. It can't, like, it's not him. I'm just paranoid. I'm just paranoid that what he's telling me sounds a little suspicious. Like, no, like, he must be right. That must be my mom in the cul-de-sac. He must, like, it's really strange that he chased that car out of here, but, like, he wouldn't do that if he didn't really feel this way, and so he feels this way, so I have to trust him. Like, and then the other part's just like, no, I think he's lying to me. And then the other part's like, no, if he's lying to me, I'm so screwed. Like, because I was sure, like, I was convinced my mom was against me because she texted him that she was going to call CPS. I think now I'm just doubting it, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure she texted him. No, she did, and she said she was gonna lock me up in Rexburg. I doubt everything now because I'm like, what did he tell me? Like, if he said she texted him something, did I see the text? Now I have to like rethink everything. Like, did I see what he told me? Did I see the evidence of that? Because he lied to me about literally everyone and everything. And then I think about when he took me to his parents' house and I was telling his mom about how afraid I was of my mom. And I'm thinking back and I'm like, he wasn't in the room. And I'm like, where did he go? Because now I'm like, by him not being there, that, like, now I look back and I'm like, he could have said anything. Like, they could have told him what I said and he could be like, yeah, she's insane. Whereas if he was in the room, I would know that he was on my side. I didn't think about him not being there at that moment. Does that make sense? Like, looking back and like, he wasn't there. Like, he drove me to Blackfoot with my kids when we dropped them off because he said they weren't safe in Pocatello, but then I think he wasn't there when I was explaining that. So he could tell them I was paranoid, but he told me that my mom was coming, and he said he thought my dad was gonna have a gun and like that my parents were gonna fucking break in. Part of me was afraid because I thought he was having a mental breakdown, and I thought he was like paranoid of my parents because I was like, of course my dad doesn't have a gun, he doesn't know a thing about guns. And now I think about it and I'm like, shit, what if he tells them like, not like, when we were in front of one of the judges, he was just like, she's lying. And I was just like, can I prove that I'm not lying? Can I prove he said this? The only thing I can do, in my opinion, is go to a fucking psychiatrist, which I have done multiple times now. And they're like, have you ever seen anything that wasn't there? And I'm like, no. Have you ever heard voices in your head? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, ask me about certain things and I explain it. And I'm like, he chased a car. Go find out if he chased that fucking car. Because I get worked up because I'm like, he's fucking scary. It's not that I'm paranoid, it's that he did that. And I'm like, I think I can trace it. I think I can prove it. I think if... But he told me he was gonna make sure I was institutionalized in a mental hospital, and he's just tried to just tell people, like, he literally said, oh, she's insane. Like, and in the CPS report where he said that, the lady wrote, and the husband says that she presents as insane. I was like, presents as insane? You fucking bastard! Like, come on! I present as insane? Is it because he's fucking torturing me? And I couldn't get help, and I asked his family, like, please help me. He yells at me all the time for hours, and they're like, well, you need to figure that out. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to get help because I can't be yelled at. My brain goes away. Like, I can't think. And then when I went to his dad for help, like, months later, like, I started asking them for help in February 2022. And then I went back again. Like, the last time I talked to his dad was in August of 2022. And I was like, I need help with your son. Like, I need help. And he said, he's going to divorce you. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, why would he do that? Like, I'm trying to help him. He's the one who has these issues. He's the one who's going to kill himself. Like, and he has, like, split personalities. Like, I fucking thought he had split personalities because he would be so nice and so normal, and then he would just snap. And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? What is wrong? Like, he can be so normal, and then he just snaps, and I don't know what to do. He's so fucking scary, and now I look at it and I'm like, were the split personalities just him tricking me? Like, was it that he would try to be nice and trick me, and then he would just show his true self and get crazy? Is that, like, why? Like, it seemed like there was two of him? He's so scary. How am I supposed to, like, walk into that meeting and just, like, rationalize with a mediator and be like, can I have half? Like, fuck? I don't want any shit. I want him to not scare me. I want him to leave me alone. Not try to break into my house, and my lawyer has to write his lawyer a letter and say, please respect the restraining order. Please don't come by. And I tell my lawyer, like, he's scary. Like, can't you do anything more forceful? And he's like, well, we have to, like, say it nicely first. We have to just, like, remind them. And I'm like, how do we have to remind him to stay away? I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so, like, I think about the future and I'm just like, what does it look like? Like, how do I, like, how do I text him and be like, the girls have a soccer game on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Like, how am I going to communicate with the man who tried to fucking destroy my brain, like, and who created a reality for everyone else that didn't exist for me, and told me stuff that he told them I was crazy for thinking because he set me up like that. And I have to unweave this stupid fucking web and be like, is he really bad, or is his brain broken? Like, he has depression and anxiety. Does he also have split personality? Like, are there two of him? Or is, like, why does he snap? Like, does he need help? I always tried to get him help, but, like, is that true? Or is he, like, really bad? Like, I now assume, I'm like, half the time I'm like, he has to be really bad because, like, he's either I can't understand it. I don't know. I just can't think about him being that bad because I'm like, what does that mean for my life? If he really is this bad, it's the same as before when I was like, no, it's gotta be just my mom. It can't be him. Because, like, if it's him, what am I gonna do? Like, I would never, like, I don't want my kids to grow up without a dad, but apparently he wants my kids to grow up without me, and that's just so weird. It's like, you really want that? I just asked him to be fucking nice. Like, please don't yell. Like, please, like, he would yell at me for fucking hours. Like, hours. He would yell at me for hours, and I would just hide under a blanket, or I would go in my room and shut the door and turn my music up because he wouldn't stop. And I didn't have anywhere to go. I had my kids. And I didn't want to abandon him because I didn't want him to kill himself. And I was like, I just tried to stick around, and I was like trying to get help, but nobody would listen. I wanted help for him. I wanted him to, like, not kill himself, and I tried to stay, like, calm. I didn't know if he was gonna snap and, like, kill everybody, because if he was upset that I was taking them away, I was like, he could come and kill all of us and then himself, because he's already almost killed himself. Like, it's too fucking scary. The amount of stress I have been under for so many years, like since June 2017, and then Zoe's birth, and I was like bawling in the delivery room, and they called CPS to be like, she won't stop crying, and I'm like, it's because my husband had a meltdown a couple weeks ago, and I can't tell anyone. I didn't tell them that because obviously I was afraid, and I was forced into a C-section, and they're like, do you guys have enough money? And I'm like, yeah, we have like 6-figure income, we're fine. And they're like, do you have a car seat? And I'm like, obviously I have a car seat. Do you have food at home? I'm like, duh. I'm not crying because I don't have my needs met. I'm crying because my life is a fucking disaster in 2017 and I'm having a baby. And I couldn't tell anyone because I was still trying to be supportive, and he didn't want people to know about his childhood sexual abuse, and I was trying to help him and be like, respectful for him. I was trying to be like, yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to know about that either if that was me. So I only ever told his parents. That's it. And it was really hard to not tell anyone and not get any help for the stress I was under. I didn't know what to do then or now or in the time in between. And then after he did all this in February, and he put a restraining order on me and I couldn't even figure out what was going on, I had to like start talking online, which was so fucking embarrassing. I had to put out enough information that I could hear, like that I could get feedback and hear what people were like, what they had heard from him, because I didn't know what was going on and I couldn't ask him. And I was like, I didn't have it. My family, I still thought my mom was against me, which I'm still like, well, apparently she is. He had told me my other sister, who was a police officer, was tracking me and coming after me, so I was like not trusting her, even though I was like, I don't know if that's true. But I still didn't trust anyone. And then like he put all these ideas in my head about them and my parents, and then said they were outside, and I'm like, is he gonna just, like, my question is just like, if we were in front of a judge, which I haven't been yet, I assume someday I will be, if we're in front of a judge, I just want to be like, Judge, ask him if he chased a car on May 1st, 2022. I get February and May confused because it's the same thing. It's the same kind of terror that caused me to dissociate. It's so fucking terrifying. Anyway, I get those 2 months confused because like they're the same thing happened. Anyway, so the first time it happened when he chased a car in our cul-de-sac and said it was my mom, and then asked if my dad had access to a gun, and I'm just like, he sounds really scared or else he's really scary. One of the two. Either he's terrified or he's not, and he's terrifying. So anyway, I want to be in front of a judge and say, ask him if he followed that car. Because I assume he's going to say something like, she made it up. Or I'm like, is he trying to say I have hallucinations or something? Because I think this is the key to everything. I assume after he chased that car, I was afraid for him and of him. I didn't know which was which. I didn't know if I was afraid because he was slipping mentally, or if he was trying to like deceive me. I think now he was trying to deceive me, but I can't commit to that because I'm like, that's fucking scary. But I think the key is that night that he chased the car away, I looked through his text messages because he left his other phone. Thank God. I assume that's just like the one piece of universal help that the universe is like, I'm going to give this lady her husband's phone so she can read through what he's done. His old phone. Like, why did he leave his text messages on there? I don't know. When he got a new phone, he never cleared the old phone, so now I have all that record of that year that I had never thought to look at until March, I think. February or March of this year, 2023. Anyway, I'm trying to get to the point. The point is, he chased that car. I was afraid of him and for him. The cops came that same night. That same night, he had texted his mom that he put an ad on care.com and that he was going to get a nanny. Then the cop showed up because of my sister, apparently. He told his mom it was my sister who called. Then he told me it was my mom. So he lied to one of us. Me, obviously. Because the truth is, I found the police report. Eventually, it says Jessica Alvarez called. So I have the evidence on the phone, or the phone record from the police report, that she's the one who called. He told his mom it was her. So he obviously lied to me when he said, I think it was your mom. So I know he lied. But furthermore, when the cops came that night, and I ran because I was already terrified, he was already scaring the shit out of me. Terrifying me. And I was trying to protect him because I was like, don't shoot my husband. What if he does something crazy? And then I did the crazy thing because I was too overwhelmed. I'm the one who ran. They didn't shoot me, thank God. But anyway, went to the hospital. They sedated me. He took a photograph. He took a picture of me sedated. I found that on his phone. Describe or explain how I feel about that, but I just need to like put that out there. There's a problem with that. Second of all, when I was in the hospital, they were asking me about why I flipped out, and I was like, well, my husband was telling me my mom was stalking us, and I just said like this: my mom was stalking us. She was coming by my house, because I believed it at that point, and I was like, she's following me, she's trying to get my kids. She texted my husband that she's coming to that she's going to take them or get them taken away or something like that she's calling CPS on Monday, and I was afraid. And they're like, have you always been paranoid? And I was like, I'm not paranoid. I was like, look at his text messages. Ask him if he chased a car. And they were like, okay, we'll go corroborate with your husband. So they called him, and they said, like, I wasn't there. I didn't hear the phone call, but I assume when they came back the next, like, a few hours later, she's like, we spoke with your husband, and he did verify your story about my mom. So I'm like, he said, like, he must have said, yes, she's following Casey. Yes, she was stalking our house. Yes, I chased a car in the cul-de-sac last night. Yes, she sent me a text that she's gonna call CPS. Like, those are the things I told them, and they said he verified it. But then he told his family I was insane and that I was paranoid. And so I'm like, okay, is it possible? I assume it's possible for me to like go back to the hospital records and be like, who is the woman? Who is the woman from Boise? Contact her. Can she remember over a year ago? Can she remember that conversation? Can she verify? Does she have paperwork that he did verify those things about my mom? Because in his text messages to his mom, and then there's all that shit. I'm like, I think he told everyone I was crazy, but he told the hospital, yeah, that's right. So I think that's the key of it. Like, he told everyone I was insane and making it up. I assume he said I was paranoid, but to the hospital person, I got out because he verified that it was true. So I'm like, but why did he verify it? Why didn't he just be like, no, that's not true? Is it because I said it's a text message that you can check? Look at his text records. Is that why? Because I just said something that's obvious that you can prove? Do you know how fucking confusing it is to have it now be July 2023 and this shit has been going on since February 2022, and the shit with my sister was in May 2022, and that's when he chased a car outside and told me my mom was coming to get my kids and that they needed to stay in Blackfoot that night, conveniently the night that my sister called the police and said I was insane and to do a welfare check, where they came by and he said, oh, could this be attached to the Norteños gang that scared you in Utah? That's so insane. Like, seriously? I can prove it, but I haven't had the chance to yet. Because who do I tell? I've told my lawyers. They haven't told any judges. I've been in the meetings. Nobody said anything yet. We're just waiting for a fucking trial? I'm still confused. I still don't know. I still don't understand what part of what he told me was true, if any. I assume, like, I don't know how much is true, or if everything is false. Everything? And for how far back? Because that's so overwhelming. Like, how long has he been lying to me that much? How long? Was his suicide attempt real? Or was that just to get me to be quiet? See, that was 2017, so what if he's been lying to me since 2017 and telling me to be quiet? And I did. I was like, okay, I'll help you, like. And then he would, like, for the next few years, sometimes he'd be like, and I'd get panicky, and I was like, oh shit, like, we gotta calm him down so he doesn't fucking die. Like, was that pretend? Was he really emotionally unstable and going to kill himself, or was he lying? And he just did it to get me to be quiet. See, those are the things I can't understand, because that was since 2017 and it's 2023. So, like, so how much of it was a lie and how much of it is his mental health? Like, as in, he's gonna murder himself and possibly me. Like, do you understand how fucking scary those two options are? Those two options aren't great. Both options aren't great. Either he's emotionally unstable and he might kill himself and me and the kids because he's fucking so unpredictable, or it's not his mental health and he just wants to destroy me. Like, do we understand the which one is it? Is he scary because he's mentally unsound and he's going to kill people? Or is he scary because that's not real and he's just trying to confuse me and get me away from my kids because he said I was fucking ungrateful? Which one?